Hey there, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to talk about the CG for the Radian Pro. But first, let me tell you that this stand box worked very well at the field today. It was very simple just to take the wings off and slide the top part out. Then have the bottom part as a stand for mounting the wings and all, and it worked extremely well. And it actually worked out faster than I thought it would be when I first tried it out here in the shop, and it worked well. So let me talk about CG. Before the first flight of this, I measured the CG with the CG machine. You've seen me do that in other videos, so I won't repeat it. And the CG machine said that I needed one small weight, which is a 1/4 ounce, the smallest piece of lead weight you can normally put on. And I put one back here, seemed fine. But on the very first flight, I could tell that it was tail heavy. Now, there's a lot of things that contribute to whether the CG is right or not. First off, I got a couple extra things in there. I've got some of which may offset, but I've got a telemetry module. I got the variometer. I have an extra connector in the nose for the telemetry module, the sensor wire, and so forth. So, plus these airplanes are never perfect. And after experimenting many flights, I decided to move the weight from here to the middle, okay, halfway between the CG and the tail where it was, and it's flying a whole lot better right there. As I said earlier about the battery, I'm using the same battery, and you can actually weigh the battery. You should weigh the battery to see how many grams it is. And all of my batteries are within just a couple of grams of one another. So the weight of the battery is the most important thing in the airplane for determining CG, and the position of the battery is extremely important. So if you recall, I have a mark in here to show exactly where the beginning of the battery should be. Corresponds to right where the Velcro in there holds it in place. And so the CG has what I consider stable now. When you see both the launching and the landing videos, you'll see it's really stable taking off in a hand launch. And if you're going to get the hand launch right, you got to make sure the CG is right. So work on it. Every airplane is going to be slightly different depending upon what you put in it. And so do the best job you can with the CG machine to see if, in fact, the instructions say if the battery is the right size and the right position, you usually don't need to add any weight. Well, I have the right battery in the right position, and I still added a little bit of weight right here. And you can experiment with it. If anything, you want it slightly nose heavy, but not very much nose heavy. You certainly don't want it tail heavy. So if you're going to err on the side of nose heavy. The other thing about the CG, when you put it on the CG machine, it will stabilize, but then you got to sort of play with it a little bit to see, if you push it up too much or down too much, it's going to fall in that direction because the CG range is quite small. Unlike other airplanes where the CG range is usually at least 10 millimeters or more. So this has worked quite well in terms of CG now. I'm going to put a Sharpie marker here to mark where it is in case it falls off. Don't think it will. I might put a dab of epoxy underneath it just to make sure it doesn't. Now that I know exactly where I think it should be, I may fly it another half a dozen times before I do that though. So that's about it for CG. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for additional videos.